Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today's recipe I'm going to show you Pyaaz Ki Kadhi, which is extremely delicious dish because it's going to be having a double tadka. The first tadka is going to have the bunad pyaz along with mustard seeds and methi seeds and a little bit of hing, which is the asafoetida, and then the second tadka is going to have the red chilies and the cinnamon and the cumin. So without wasting any time, I'm going to show you how to make this perfect curry that will go along with a rice and an aloo gobi sabzi and maybe a tawa paratha. So let me just dive right in. So into my mixing bowl, the first thing I'm going to do is to mix the besan and the dahi mixture along with a few other spice powders. So I'm going to add in the besan and I'm going to add in the dahi. So to this I'm going to add in the salt, a pinch of turmeric powder, a pinch of red chili powder. And I'm going to give this a stir and mix it completely until the besan gets well combined into the dahi, okay? And I'm just going to mix it up. Now I'm going to add in some water. So typically for 2 tablespoons of besan and a cup of dahi, you add 3 cups of water. And I like my curry to be a little thinner than the thick curry. And Pyaaz Ki Kadhi is nice when it's a little thin. Okay, so that's why I've added 3 cups of water. You can measure it and add it. And I'm just going to mix it. And we're going to really simmer the curry now. Give it the first tadka and then simmer it for a good 10 minutes to get the really nice flavors. So I'm just going to give it a stir, and now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the first tadka and then simmer the curry. So into my preheated pan, ensure that the pan is preheated and it's warm. I'm going to melt some ghee. Ghee is one of the most important ingredients for a curry because it adds flavor, and the tadka is always given in ghee. And to this I'm going to add in the mustard seeds and a pinch of just a little bit of methi seeds. And we'll allow the mustard seeds and the methi seeds to crackle, and once it crackles I'm going to add in the hing, which is another most important ingredient. Okay, so notice that it's crackling already because the pan was preheated, and I'm going to add in the hing. And hing, as I mentioned, is a very important ingredient for a curry, and it's important that you use a pure and high quality hing. And this particular hing, the SSP that I use, has no Arabic gum in it, and hence it becomes very strong, and it's a very high quality. I'm just going to you will see me just adding a few pinches, and the shaker bottle just helps you add just a few pinches. Okay, so I'm just going to add in the hing into the ghee, and hing is always added into the ghee so it brings out the flavors. Okay, I can already smell the strong hing now. And to this I'm going to add in the onions, and I'm going to stir the onions well until it becomes nice, soft and lightly brown. You want it to, just before it gets caramelized, you want to stop it there, and you want the onions to get lightly browned, and we'll fry it on low to medium heat until for about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so the onions have become lightly browned, if you notice, and it's got light caramel texture to it, and this is how we want it. And to this I'm going to add in our curry, besan and dahi mixture. Now, one of the most important things in making a curry is to ensure that you have to keep whisking it until it comes to a nice brisk boil, and because as the besan and the dahi get together, it gets cooked, right? So it's very important in the initial stages of making a curry, for at least the first couple of minutes till you see it's beginning to boil, you have to ensure that you keep stirring it so lumps don't form, and so only then the curry will be nice and smooth. So it's very useful to have some the matte or the whisk, the wooden whisk, or you can also use any other whisk that you have. This will help make the curry mixture really smooth. I'm just going to keep whisking it until it comes to a nice brisk boil. And once it comes to a brisk boil, you can actually turn the heat to medium and let it simmer for a good 10 minutes so that all the flavors just come through into the curry. So notice that the curry is coming to a nice brisk boil, and I kept stirring it in between. It's important that you keep whisking it. It should be smooth without any lumps, and that's how you want it. At this stage you can simmer the curry, and you will notice that the curry is getting thicker, and as it gets thicker, if you want to dilute it, you can dilute it by adding little water. Ensure that you check the taste with salt and everything, and simmer it for a good 10 minutes until it's done. Okay, now you don't need to whisk it anymore. You can remove the whisk because you will know that you don't have to whisk anymore when you don't see curdles. I'm going to turn the heat to low to show you that you don't see the curd that is split apart. It's all combined well and it looks really smooth, and that's the kind of mixture that you want. The moment you see that there is dahi pieces floating around, that means you need to whisk a little more or you've added extra water. Okay, so that's a small tip that you need to keep in mind. So that's it. So I'm going to allow it to simmer and for about a couple of more minutes, and then do the final tadka. So into my preheated pan for the second tadka, I'm going to melt in some ghee. Ensure that the pan is preheated so the ghee will melt quickly, and all the tadka that we are going to add will also crackle up. So to this, I'm going to add in some cumin seeds, just a little bit, but the most heightening flavor is going to be the coriander seeds, which I've coarsely crushed. Okay, I just crushed it a little bit, and it adds a lot of flavor to the curry. So I didn't add dhania powder into the curry, but instead I'm adding these coriander seeds, which adds a great taste. And I'm going to add in the cinnamon sticks. I'm going to break in some red chilies, and then finally some curry patta. Okay, and we're going to stir this for a bit until all the ingredients get lightly roasted and the flavors start coming through. Once you notice the flavors start coming through, we'll just transfer the curry to a serving bowl and pour the tadka over it. That's it. Doesn't that look really pretty? The curry, which has a lot of pyaz and hing and coriander seeds and the chilies and the curry patta, and just bursting with flavors. It goes well with a hot bowl of rice, curry chawal, and you can also serve it along with some aloo bhaja or an aloo gobi sabzi. Do give this curry recipe a try, the double tadka curry. I'm sure that you'd love to make it in your kitchen. When you do, don't forget to share your feedback in the comments below, because as always, I'll be looking to hear back from you. Until then, until next time, happy cooking and healthy eating.